Hi, my name is Jane Powell. Welcome to Community Connections. This is a program showcasing community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Today my guest is Kate Long, co-founder of Try This West Virginia. Welcome, Kate. I'm glad you're on the show.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks for inviting me.
So, my first question to everyone is, tell us about your organization. Tell us about Try This West Virginia.
Well, Try This is pretty much what the name says. This is a coalition of about 20 statewide organizations, all of whom want to help knock West Virginia off the top of the worst health lists. And we all decided we can get a lot more done if we work together and have a lot more fun at it than if we tried in our own little separate boxes to do something that isn't connected to what the next guy is doing. So we have statewide partners that range from big government agencies like the Office of Child Nutrition and the Bureau for Public Health into community organizations like the Council of Churches and the Farmers Market Association, the School-Based Health Center, and so forth, and West Virginia University Extension. The list just goes on. We're adding partners all the time. Our feeling is we hope the whole state at some point will become one big Try This and just say, okay, we may be on top of the worst health list, but we don't have to stay there. We do not have to stay there, because we know that most of the chronic diseases that West Virginia is famous for having a lot of are, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, and so forth. All those things are preventable by two things: increased physical activity and eating less processed food. And so we're creating a program for everyone, but we're really aiming at the children. What we're doing is making a network of people who are trying to do things in their own communities all around West Virginia. When I first started with Try This, people said, well, let me back up a little bit. I used to be a Gazette reporter.
Okay.
And about 4 years ago, I started writing a series called The Shape We're In that was on this subject. And I told them at the time, the editors, that I didn't want to just hold my head and say, oh, this is awful, look how awful this is. I want to find people who are trying to do something about it. And one of the editors asked me, do you think you can find enough for 6 stories? There were 70 stories.
70 stories?
70 stories over a year and a half. And a lot of them had, 2 or 3 communities in them. And I could have kept going. There is so much going on in West Virginia. West Virginians are worried. They are beginning to understand. When I first started, it was hard to find people who really understood that our chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes were preventable. There's all these myths out there that say if your mom had diabetes, you're just going to get it. Not true. And people are beginning to realize that. They're also beginning to realize that our kids are at risk. The cardiac program from West Virginia University goes around to the schools every year, and they actually measure children and weigh them, and in some cases take blood samples and so forth. And so they have hard evidence. Of our 11-year-olds, 5th graders, 1 in 4 has high blood pressure.
Wow.
1 in 4 abnormal cholesterol. Almost 1 in 3 of our 11-year-olds is already obese. And what this means is that those kids are really high risk of developing all those diseases early when they get older. Our medical trackers and research tell us that if you got a kid who at that age has already got high blood pressure, cholesterol abnormalities, they're heavy, they're at risk. But it doesn't have to happen.
Right.
And it doesn't cost much to prevent it. It doesn't cost a lot to walk and run, and to hula hoop and dance and do all the things that kids used to do normally. I grew up in Oak Hill, and my mother used to say, okay, out the door in the morning, be back for dinner. And you'll hear that repeated all over West Virginia. We ranged all over the community,
right,
and climbed trees and chased after each other and played hide and seek, and nobody had to tell us to be active.
That's very different now.
That's right, and we didn't have little thumb machines. And also parents are worried now. They don't do that with their kids anymore. They want to know where their kids are all the time, and I'm not criticizing that, but what it means is that we've got a different world, and we have to be more intentional about it if we are going to prevent our kids from falling into expensive, distressing diseases, early in their lives. We don't wish that for them, and we can prevent it. So that's what Try This is about. And maybe showing, we have a video that public broadcasting recently made some spots for us. One of our funders, Unicare, paid for them. And maybe we could see one of them now. Yes, West Virginia is on top of a lot of the worst health lists. But that doesn't mean we have to stay there. All over West Virginia, people are doing something about it. In Braxton County, parents have created their own soccer league, and hundreds of kids are playing.
It's up to us.
And then there's Wood County.
Ready, go!
Volunteers operate a running club with 1,000 members of all ages.
It's up to us.
And in Lincoln County, volunteers built a playground and running trail the whole community can use.
It's up to us.
It's up to all of us. We can build a healthier West Virginia. Find hundreds of ideas about ways to make it happen at trythiswv.com.
This message is brought to you by Unicare. Health is about choices. Choose well.
Wow, what a great video. You're so lucky to have that. That shows a lot of different people working and volunteering with Try This. So tell me a little bit about the network.
Well, all those people are not necessarily Try This, and we're not trying to take credit for everything that everybody is doing. We do give out mini grants, and Unicare is one of our funders, and I want to mention that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation also is, and is the Benedum Foundation, and the Office of Child Nutrition and Bureau for Public Health, and so forth. What they want us to do is provide the resources to community groups that want to create healthier communities. All over West Virginia, people want to do something. What I realized when I was a reporter was that just wanting to do something isn't enough, because you think, I want to do something. What could I do? What's my menu? The mayor of Sutton said to me one day while I was interviewing him, why do we have to wander around and figure out for ourselves what to do? Surely other people have done these things.
You've created a great resource for that.
We have created a menu, and I want to show the website here in a minute, John, whenever you can. This is the Try This website. And this website, if you scroll down, run your mouse over it a little bit, John. As you run your mouse over it, you'll see expand farmers markets, or have mini grants, get kids active after school, and start a youth sports league. And if you scroll, all those pictures are taken in West Virginia. These are not Ohio people or Indiana people doing really cool stuff. These are West Virginians. We are worried about our kids, and we want to do something about it. Maybe scroll down a little bit, John, and you can see how big this thing is. There's a fund. See the dollars? That's a funding page. It gives you all kinds of ideas about how you can get money to make your community more healthy.
Each one of these is a link to more information.
That's right.
Yes.
Maybe click on one. That one right there, encourage road biking. Let's click on that. Hey, there's some people in Kanawha City. Roll down there, and there's some people under them in Huntington. who are gathering for a critical mass bike ride. And people already all over West Virginia, and there's a thing that said Huntington's setting a great example. You want to make it easier for people in your community to bike, and then it tells you how to do it. It gives you the best websites that take you straight to different links that will tell you this is how you can do this in your community. There's Parkersburg down at the bottom there. But all over, I mean, this website is filled. There's Huntington again. And that's Richwood.
So
I traveled all over West Virginia taking these pictures, and West Virginians are really creative, and they're doing all kinds of great things. The thing is that people in one town or one county don't necessarily know what the people in the next county are doing, so they can't join forces and they can't help each other, and that's where we come in. Give them the website that's a 24/7 resource, and you can get on it, and I encourage all of your listeners to get right on that website and go to the index and just treat it like a menu, like you walked into a restaurant and said, hey, what would I like to do? Maybe I'd like to have farm to school. You know, I live in a rural area. I could grow things and we could sell them to the schools. You use the website for that, but then again, we bring people together once a year at a conference at West Virginia Wesleyan, and we just had that conference 2 weeks ago. 550 people came, and it was the website come to life.
So who comes to this concert? Of these 500 people, who are they?
All kinds of people. It's people from WVU who are professors. It's people who never came to a conference in their life. It was 70 teenagers. It was, people a lot of people from West Virginia University Extension, people who are working in farmers markets, people who want to do something for their community come. As they can come, and we have 40 workshops where they learn that from some of the best West Virginians. All our teachers are West Virginians, you know, and they are showing you, see, this is already happening in West Virginia, so you don't get that reaction of, well, yeah, that could happen in Indiana, but not here.
Right.
Yes, it can. And then after the conference, if you've had 3 people at the conference, you can apply for a mini grant. And we just got 75 applications for mini grants for projects that people in West Virginia communities want to create to make greater opportunities for physical activity, biking, hiking, trails, so forth. We got one for drumming, you know, for you know, staying active with music.
That's great.
Or else expanding your opportunities for fresh local food, which could be community gardens, doing creative things in a farmer's market, all kinds of things. But what we're doing, we're giving people a 24/7 resource. We're bringing as many people as we can together once a year, and then we're giving people actual money that they can get, and we don't just fling it at them. They have very, they have to have goals and meet those goals and collaborate within their community to do it. But we had 40 last year. We're going to have about 50
That's
this
great.
year. Next year, that'll put us over 100 community teams
That's
doing
really
this.
amazing.
Think 5 years from now.
What you've created, what started out as a reporter's assignment, has grown into a movement.
Well, I
It's
don't want
very
it in any way.
wonderful.
I get real uncomfortable when people think I created it.
No, you and
You know,
volunteers.
hundreds
So
of
thank
people.
you so much for being
Thank
here and
you.
sharing it with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. This is Kate Long with Try This. You can check it out on her website, and we hope you'll come back and see us next time. Brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation.